The door creaked open like a dying breath, revealing a hallway shrouded in shadows that clung to the walls like cobwebs of despair. Dust motes danced in faint moonlight filtering through cracked windows, while the floorboards groaned under invisible weight. Whispers echoed from the darkness ahead, faint and mocking, as if the house itself breathed secrets too vile to utter. A single candle flickered on a warped table, its flame casting elongated shadows that twisted like tormented souls. The air grew thick with the smell of mildew and decay, pressing against the skin like cold fingers. Portraits on the walls stared with eyes that followed every movement, their painted smiles curling into sneers as the light waned. Footsteps echoed from upstairs, slow and deliberate, though no one was visible in the dim stairwell. The banister felt slick underhand, coated in something viscous and warm. A chill wind slithered down the steps, carrying a faint cry that dissolved into silence, leaving only the pounding of a racing heart. In the kitchen, utensils hung motionless, rusted and forgotten, while a faucet dripped rhythmically like a ticking clock counting down to doom. Shadows pooled in the corners, shapes shifting just out of sight. A sudden clatter broke the quiet, a knife falling to the floor, blade pointed accusingly toward the door. The basement door loomed at the hall's end, its wood splintered and scarred as if clawed by desperate hands. A low hum emanated from below, vibrating through the floor like the growl of a buried beast. Cold air seeped from the cracks, laced with the metallic tang of blood and earth. Descending the stairs, each step creaked like breaking bones, plunging deeper into oppressive darkness. The walls wept moisture, trickling down in rivulets that formed eerie patterns. Something skittered in the gloom ahead, small and fast, vanishing before the light could catch it. Cobwebs draped the basement like funeral veils, tangling in hair and clothes with sticky insistence. Shelves lined with jars held murky liquids and floating shapes, eyes perhaps staring blankly. A faint scratching sounded from behind a crate, rhythmic and insistent, as if something clawed for freedom. Upstairs in the bedroom, the bed sagged under unseen weight, sheets rumpled as if recently abandoned. Mirrors reflected distorted figures, faces not quite one's own. A whisper brushed the ear, intimate and vile, promising horrors in the dead of night. The attic hatch groaned open, releasing a puff of stale air heavy with dust and regret. Ladders led up into pitch black, where beams creaked like old joints. Faint light revealed trunks overflowing with yellowed letters, words bleeding ink like open wounds. A child's room lay frozen in time, toys scattered as if mid-play, eyes of dolls following intruders. Wallpaper peeled in strips, revealing scribbled messages in childish scrawl. It sees you. Laughter echoed faintly, ghostly and joyless from empty corners. The library shelves bowed under tomes bound in cracked leather, pages whispering as they turned unaided. Candlelight revealed illustrations of grotesque figures, alive in the flickering shadows. A book fell open to a passage of curses, ink still wet and glistening. In the parlor, furniture shrouded in white sheets resembled huddled ghosts, stirring slightly in unfelt breezes. A grandfather clock ticked erratically, hands spinning backward. Portraits wept tears of varnish, eyes pleading for release from their frames. The bathroom mirror fogged without steam, handprints appearing from the other side. Water in the tub rippled gently, as if something submerged breathed below the surface. A drip echoed, blood red, staining the porcelain with accusations. Hallway shadows elongated impossibly, reaching like fingers toward the unwary. Doors slammed shut in the distance, locking with finality. Echoes of footsteps circled, always just behind, never quite catching up. A secret door revealed a hidden room, walls etched with frantic symbols warding evil. Candles guttered low, illuminating altars of bone and feather. Whispers chanted in unknown tongues, growing louder with each heartbeat. The garden outside wilted under moonlight, thorns twisting like barbed wire. Statues stared with hollow eyes, moss creeping like veins. A rustle in the bushes hinted at eyes watching, hungry, impatient. Back inside, the fireplace crackled without fuel, flames casting demonic shapes on the walls. Ashes stirred, forming words, leave now. Heat pulsed unnaturally, singeing skin from afar. Stairs to nowhere ended in brick walls, scratches marking desperate escapes. Air grew thick, breaths shallow and panic. Laughter bubbled from the sealed end, muffled but triumphant. A nursery cradle rocked gently, empty yet creaking with phantom weight. Lullabies hummed from thin air, twisted into dirges. Shadows of tiny hands reached from under the bed, grasping at ankles. The study desk held scattered papers, ink blots forming faces in agony. Quills scratched unaided, scripting pleas for help. Drawers rattled, contents shifting like restless spirits. Cellar depths hid chains dangling from ceilings, rusted links clinking softly. Puddles reflected inverted horrors, rippling with unseen disturbances. Moans rose from the dark, pleading and eternal. Guest room bed canopy billowed like sails in a storm, though windows were sealed. Pillows indented with head shapes, warm to the touch. Whispers confessed sins of past occupants. Kitchen pantry shelves groaned under horrors, labels faded and ominous. Jars rattled, contents swirling like trapped storms. A door within led deeper, to forgotten abysses. Balcony overlooked fog-shrouded grounds, railings slick with dew or tears. Winds howled names of the lost, carrying echoes of screams. Figures loomed in the mist below, beckoning silently. Master Suite held a four-poster bed, curtains drawn like shrouds. Mirrors multiplied reflections infinitely, each more distorted. A sigh escaped the wardrobe, doors ajar revealing emptiness. Attic relics included a Ouija board. Plan kept moving solo across letters. You're next. Dust swirled in patterns, forming runes of doom. Beams overhead creaked warnings. Dining room table set for ghost, plates untouched yet steaming. Chairs scraped back unaided, inviting unseen guest. Chandeliers swayed, crystals tinkling like breaking glass. Basement workshop tools lay scattered, hammers rising and falling on anvils alone. Sparks flew, illuminating grotesque masks on walls. Echoes of pounding mimicked heartbeats, frantic and failing. Living room sofa sagged invitingly, cushions whispering invitations to rest. Television static showed fleeting faces, screaming silently. Remote clicked channels unaided to horrors untold. Stairwell portraits aged before eyes, subjects decaying in frames. Steps shifted subtly, tripping the unwary. Handrails pulsed like veins, warm and throbbing. Hidden passage walls closed in, narrowing with each step. Torches flickered low, shadows leaping like predators, and revealed a chamber of mirrors, reflections infinite and mad. Garden shed doors banged in wind, tools inside sharpening themselves. Vines crept inward, thorny and alive. A figure silhouetted briefly, vanishing into woodwork. Fire escape rusted and precarious, leading to rooftops under stormy skies. Lightning illuminated gargoyles leering down. Steps groaned protest, threatening collapse. Nursery wallpaper animated subtly, figures moving when unobserved. Toys levitated briefly, crashing down in rage. Cradle songs warped into threats. Library ladders slid unaided, books tumbling like accusations. Pages turned to revelations of family curses. Ink bled fresh, staining fingers indelibly. Parlor piano keys depressed softly, playing dissonant melodies. Sheet music yellowed, notes scribbled and bled. Bench creaked under invisible performer. Bathroom tiles cracked like spider webs, water pooling crimson. Shower curtain billowed, hiding shapes behind. Mirror inscriptions appeared, look closer. Hall clock struck midnight asynchronously, chimes discordant. Hands spun wildly, time unraveling. Echoes lingered, mocking mortality. Secret alcove held relics of rituals, candles reigniting spontaneously. Symbols glowed faintly, pulsing with malice. Air hummed invocations. Garden paths twisted labyrinthine, hedges whispering directions false. Statues wept openly, tears acidic. Fog thickened, swallowing escape. Fireplace mantle photos faded, subjects vanishing one by one. Flames roared suddenly, consuming offerings. Ashes spelled prophecies dire. Stairs spiraled endlessly, directions inverting. Walls breathed, expanding and contracting. Landings held doors to voids. Child's playroom echoed with giggles turning to sobs. Dolls assembled in circles, eyes accusatory. Blocks spelled run repeatedly. Study globes spun solo, pointing to cursed lands. Maps redrew boundaries in ink blood red. Compass needles whirled madly. Cellar barrels leaked viscous fluids, sense nauseating. Taps dripped eternally, forming pools reflective of nightmares. Chains rattled warnings. Guest bath faucets turned unaided, water scalding. Mirrors shattered inward, shards floating. Steam formed faces pleading. Kitchen oven glowed hot without power, doors banging open. Aromas of burning flesh wafted. Timers ticked backward to zero. Balcony winds carried voices of the damned, pleading entry. Railings bent like bars of a cage. Stars above dimmed ominously. Master wardrobe doors creaked wide, clothes stirring like bodies. Hangers clinked melodies macabre. Depths hid passages to unknown. Attic windows rattled with unseen knocks, panes frosting patterns. Trunks unlocked, contents spilling secrets. Beams sagged under weight unseen. Dining chairs circled the table, scraping floors. Silverware bent twisted. Candles dripped wax like blood. Basement forge bellows pumped alone, fires raging. Anvils rang with strikes phantom. Masks melted, reforming hideous. Living room curtains drew closed, blocking moonlight. Furniture rearranged subtly, trapping paths. Static voices called names. Stair portraits whispered biographies twisted. Frames cracked, glass spidering. Steps steepened dangerously. Hidden vault doors ground open, revealing treasures cursed. Coins gleamed malevolently. Locks snapped shut behind. Garden fountains bubbled blood. Statues animating briefly. Paths looped eternally. Mist figures danced mockingly. Fire escape steps vanished midway, leading to drops infinite. Gargoyles growled low. Lightning struck close, illuminating horrors. Nursery mobiles spun frantic, shadows whirling. Toys whispered plots. Cradles rocked violently. Library shelves collapsed warningly. Books avalanching. Pages fluttered like bats. Ink formed messages urgent. Parlor mirrors reflected rooms altered. Doors where none existed. Piano played dirges accelerating. Bench invited peril. Bathroom lights flickered Morse code distress. Tiles shifted mosaics gruesome. Water swirled drains howling. Hall doors locked sequentially, trapping within. Clocks melted dolly-like. Echoes amplified fears. Secret chambers echoed chants ancient, walls vibrating. Altars demanded sacrifices. Symbols burned retinas. Guarding graves unearthed themselves. Bones rising. Hedges thorned barriers. Fog screamed silently. Fireplace logs ignited spontaneously. Flames blew cold. Mantel clocks stopped dead. Ashes drew sigils. Stairs descended into abyss. Steps infinite. Walls closed claustrophobic. Landings whispered lies. Playroom games played solo. Pieces moving strategically. Dolls blinked alive. Blocks built towers tumbling. Study desks drawers open. Papers flying accusatory. Quills wrote autonomously. Globes exploded shards. Cellar shadows coalesced solid, touching icy. Barrels rolled blocking exits. Chains whipped lashing. Guest rooms beds levitated. Sheets entangling. Mirrors looped reflections trapped. Sighs filled air. Kitchen knives floated pointed, slicing air. Ovens roared infernos. Pantry doors slammed rhythmic. Balconies' edges crumbled, voids below calling. Winds pushed treacherously. Stars fell like omens. Wardrobes' portals opened to realms nightmarish. Clothes animated grasping. Hangers hooked flesh. Attics' rafters hung nooses swaying. Windows showed vistas infernal. Trunks swallowed light. Dining feast appeared rattan. Maggots feasting. Chairs pulled occupants down. Candles extinguished collectively. Basement's depths flooded suddenly, waters rising black. Tools floated menacing. Chains drowned echoes. Living spaces contracted, walls pressing. Furniture crushed inward. Static screamed finality. Stairwells twisted Mubius. Endless loops. Portraits laughed maniacal. Steps vanished beneath feet. Vaults treasures cursed animated. Coins biting. Locks reformed stronger. Doors sealed eternal. Gardens wilted instantaneous. Thorns piercing. Statues crumbled dust. Fogs consumed all. Escape impossible now. House alive pulsing. Winds inside howled victory. Darkness claimed absolute.